good to be back. Welcome back to Craft Computing, everyone. As always, I'm Jeff. Today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new AverMedia Live Gamer Mini, also known as the GC311. It's a little bit interesting in the modern capture card market as it's still using USB 2.0 over a USB micro cable. However, that does make it compatible with some older systems if you're wanting to get into game streaming. Walking around the HD Mini, it is compact and very lightweight. Port-wise, it also stays pretty simple, with an HDMI in and an HDMI lag-free output. However, you can only pass through up to a 1080p 60 signal, so no ultrawide or 4K pass-through or recording. Inside the box, you get the unit itself, a quick start and installation guide, as well as a very nice USB 2.0 braided cable. And as I alluded to earlier, simplicity really is the name of today's game. This is a plug-and-play capture device that is compatible with both OBS and RE Central from AverMedia. Both programs allow you to capture, stream, and record anything you put over the HDMI interface. And normally with capture card reviews, I try to do my camera recording over the capture card to give you an idea of quality throughout the entire video. However, I'm not doing that today for one major reason, and it's image quality. The Live Gamer Mini was sent over by AverMedia back in May for me to review, but I've held back on doing the review because I was always a little bit unimpressed with the image quality that I was getting. I would capture some benchmarks, tweak a couple settings, and capture again. However, there was always just something lackluster about the footage I was seeing. The image would look fine in the preview window. However, upon recording and playing back the video file, there was always a large amount of compression, color loss, and just overall graininess to the footage I was receiving, and I was not happy with it. The next week during benchmarking, I would tweak some settings and try again. However, the result every single time was the same, regardless of what bitrate I recorded at or what hardware I was using for encoding. So let's just jump straight into the nitty-gritty of this review, starting with some of the first benchmarks that I captured with it. We'll go all the way back to my original GTX 1650 review in which I captured Rocket League. In this recording, the color palette is pretty dark overall, however the highlights are still bright and vivid as they should be. However, if I freeze frame right about here, you can see there's some pretty obvious compression and color banding up in the highlights, which for me is just not acceptable in a capture card that should be able to capture at full 1080p. This recording was done at a 12.5 megabit bitrate, which is my go-to capture setting for 1080p gameplay inside of these benchmark videos. It keeps the hard drive space needed for these kind of captures low, while also allowing me to upload to YouTube and not have them compress too badly. Fast forwarding about a month, I tested the card again, however this time with a 20 megabit rate instead of the 12.5 I normally use. As I'm hoping you can see, the compression and color banding is still very much present in these recordings as well, even at the much higher bitrate which I've never had to use on previous capture card reviews. But this really started to get me thinking, am I the one who's wrong here? Are my standards for image quality just too high in that a $130 device can no longer impress me? No. This is a capture card I've reviewed previously. This is the Penco 4K HDMI grabber. It's a much sturdier housing, number one, made out of aluminum instead of plastic. Moving around to the back, there are two HDMI 2.0 ports, however you can still only record at 1080p 60, but you can pass through signals of up to ultrawide and 4K 60 resolutions to your pass-through monitor. While this does use a USB 3.0 interface, I have successfully used this capture card on an HDMI 2.0 port for lower-end computers. There's also an alternative headphone and microphone jack on the front of this card. The Penco was $160 when I reviewed it, however now it is down to $130 on Amazon, and that seems to be the new regular price. So I figured, what better way to wrap up this review than to review a $130 card against a competing $130 card. For this test, I fed a 1080p signal into the Live Gamer Mini and then used the lag-free HDMI output to send that same signal over to the Penco 4K grabber. I then captured both signals simultaneously inside of OBS using split screen. And the results of this test, I'm very happy to say, are crystal clear. It wasn't just me who had higher expectations, it's the card that is wrong. On your left is the Live Gamer Mini, and on your right is the Penco 4K grabber. Now we're going to start off with Rocket League, as that was one of the games that I was most disappointed with the movement and motion blur inside of the capture. One of the things that struck me right off the bat was the dynamic range and contrast being captured by the Penco over the Live Gamer Mini. As you can see, the highlights are a lot brighter and the darks are a lot darker, leading to overall a much higher quality image, and in my opinion, a much more color accurate representation of what's being fed to my monitor. In my opinion, the brightness on the Penco could be brought up just a little bit to get a better quality image and be able to see the darks a little bit better. However, that's something that can easily be done in a filter inside of OBS or in post-processing. However, I wanted to display both images natively as I captured them. Unfortunately for the Live Gamer Mini, I don't think there's a lot that can be done even in post to save this image, as once you compress and lose a lot of the color information, you can't get it back. And this right here is really the image that sums up my opinion of the AverMedia Live Gamer Mini. It's that I expected more out of it. Even compared to the Penco, which is not a company I had previously heard of, the image is just a little bit lacking, and there's not a lot that can be done to save it either through filters or in post-processing. So how do we wrap this one up? I think at a much lower price point, say sub $100, this starts to make a lot of sense, especially with some of the third-party and no-name capture cards that are on the market for that price point using USB 2.0 and offering 1080p 60 capture. This would certainly blow those out of the water as far as quality goes. However, as soon as you step into the $130 price bracket, there's a lot of competition out there that makes this just look subpar. And that's going to do it for me in this one, guys. Let me know down in the comments below, what capture card do you use at home, and can you see a market for the Live Gamer Mini, or are there just better options out there already? Make sure to like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Follow me on Twitter at Craft Computing, and if you'd like to financially back the channel, make sure to look me up on Patreon. A $1 donation gets you access to my exclusive Discord server, where you can chat with myself and the other hosts from Talking Heads. Thank you guys so much for watching this one, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Cheers all.